Welcome, everyone, to DCR Out Loud. My name is Tara McKinney, and I'm the Public Outreach Director of the Division of Cannabis Regulation. Hi, Amy. Welcome back to DCR Out Loud. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. It's good to be back.
I know. It's good to have you back. Coming to August already, and a lot's been happening this summer. So we have a really good lineup today. We're on episode 10 of season 1. That means we've had a total of 13 episodes. We had 3 pilots. We're on the 10th episode now.
Yeah, that's really great. And I had no idea that we'd done that many. I was not keeping track, but I think there's so much value in this, and it's been fun too. So I'm really proud of us for doing this.
Yeah, me too. It's been a great time. I really enjoy doing it, and I'm looking forward to season 2 coming up probably next year. What do we have going on today?
Okay, so we have Bruce Dooley here to talk about the new testing forms for failed mandatory tests. And you and I are going to talk a little bit about the most recent MCRC meeting. Help me out. MCRC stands for Missouri Cannabis Regulatory Collaborative.
Regulation
Collaborative. I wouldn't get it exactly right. Let's see. We also released the annual report earlier this month. Want to talk some about that. And we have rules. We posted some draft rules. We need to talk about that, elicit as much feedback as possible. Really excited to get those out.
Yeah, gosh, it's been really busy. Last but not least, we will have micro minutes with Lesley, and SC is hitting the road to do some licensee learning sessions coming up in September. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Hey, Bruce. Welcome to DCR Out Loud.
Yes,
Hi.
welcome. This isn't your first appearance, though, so glad to have you back.
I'm glad you guys are taking the gamble on me again.
Yeah.
It worked out. It's fine. It's fine.
And just in case our audience missed that episode, could you introduce yourself to the people?
Absolutely. So, Bruce Dooley, I'm the Facility Compliance Manager. I oversee the Facility Compliance Unit, which includes our compliance officers. And so, in my role, I'm just making sure that they have all that they need to be successful in their roles and inspecting our facilities.
Perfect. So today you're here to talk with us about failed mandatory testing. To summarize, I guess when a licensee's marijuana product fails mandatory testing, we know that the licensee must notify the Division of Cannabis Regulation, that's us, within 15 days of the failure. As I understand it, we have a new way to do that. Is that right?
That is correct. We've updated our process. We've added to our website. And so I'm glad to introduce that to everybody.
Okay. So could you tell us just a little bit more about the rule and what it requires for this failed mandatory testing?
Yes. 19 CSR 100-1.110-10B. Always love reading rule citations. My favorite part.
Yep.
States that licensees must give us one of the following solutions when they have a failed mandatory test. They can either reanalyze the test sample, remediate with a DCR approved process, request approval for another kind of remediation, or destroy the failed product.
And now there's a form for each one of those solutions, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, there is. And so that's one of the new features is that we have a form for each of these to make sure that we're getting consistent information. There is a reanalysis notification form, an approved remediation method notification form, an unapproved remediation method request, and a product destruction notification. For the reanalysis notification form, that is a notification. That means that you're letting us know the testing licensee information about the product and the failed test so that we can release the holds and you can complete the test. And it's just a notification, so there's no approval required before you complete that. It's just so that we can then remove the hold. Same thing for the approved remediation method notification form. In rule, there are 4 approved methods already for remediating product. And so this is just notifying us of which you're intending to use. So again, that we can release the hold. Then there's the unapproved remediation method. So it is allowed that if you have a remediation method that is not already cited in rule, that you can then request to use this method. And so on our side, we evaluate that. And it does require our written approval before you could then continue with that specific remediation method. And finally, with the product destruction, that's again notifying us that of the information regarding the destruction so that you can carry it out. So we have 3 notifications, and then With the unapproved remediation, that is a request form because we have to evaluate and approve the requested method.
Yeah. And I want to say, we're talking about forms. Forms, exciting. But actually it is. The focus of these forms is implementing improvements in the rule. Previously there wasn't really a clear process for dealing with remediation. And in our new rules, I would say, in the interest of efficiency, kind of cleared the path for licensees and businesses to move forward when they have failed mandatory testing with all these notifications rather than seeking approval and having to wait. And then forms, gives you just a real simple pull out the form you need, put it through, everybody knows what to do with it. Are you anticipating that this will really help with processing times, at least compared to, way back before we redid these rules?
Absolutely. As a career regulator, I am a big believer in what we do, and it's one of the things I love about our division is the constant process improvement. And so, as fun as forms are, there is a goal. This is to help improve reduce the back and forth communication, make it more clear up front what it is that's required. So again, you don't have that unnecessary back and forth. And so, the goal is just to, better service to licensees and the public. So
that's
I'm
great.
excited about it.
Me too. Forms can be exciting. Anything else you want us to know or want licensees to know about this?
So just kind of walk through just a little bit. Once the licensee decides which solution is best for their failed product, they do need to fill out and submit the corresponding form to DCR. So that's part of the thing about having a form is that it is then a required step. You can't, without them, you could, as long as we had the information written on a napkin, maybe, so
Right.
this is a required form, so you do need to use it. So licensees must complete the entire form. Incomplete forms may not be accepted. They have to complete one form for each tag that failed mandatory testing. So you can't, list a bunch of them on a separate attachment or something like that.
Yeah, that's important.
There's only information for one tag on each. For DCR notifications, licensees must not begin until DCR removes the product from administrative hold. Always important for administrative holds. You can't do anything with it until the hold is lifted. So that holds here too. For DCR requests, so again, we have the one request for the unapproved remediation methods. Licensees must not begin until DCR approves the licensee's request in writing and removes product from administrative hold. And each form has additional instructions located on the form, including instructions for submission. One other important thing that I'd like to bring up with these failed test forms, because you mentioned the deadlines. So when we're talking about some of the most common issues that we see with the failed mandatory testing process is missing those deadlines. So it's just something that I would advise to licensees listening that be cognizant of those timelines. So again, from the testing failure date, that is 15 days to send us one of these forms. And then from the failed mandatory testing date, again, you have the 90 days to complete that action. And so, whenever you're, making your SOPs and whenever you are, practicing those plans, just keep that in mind so that you're not missing those. And if you do miss one of those deadlines, well, then you're wrong and you should feel bad. If you do miss one of those deadlines, please just let us know. So you reach out to your compliance officer, let them know that the deadline is passed so that we can then begin working with you to figure out how to address the issue.
Okay. For the record, I think, Bruce, you are one of the least you're wrong and you should feel bad personalities I've ever met. So that was particularly funny. Well done, sir. Okay. So if a licensee has questions, what's the best way to contact you or your team?
For questions, they may email cannabiscompliance@health.mo.gov or contact their compliance officer. It's actually helpful if you are sending an email to the cannabis compliance email to copy your compliance officer. Like with everything, they always appreciate being kept in the loop. So
perfect.
And all of this information is available on our website as well at cannabis.mo.gov. Really appreciated having you today. It's been great.
Really excited to be on board. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Now it's time for Micro Minutes with Lesley.
Yeah, and we were just joking about how we think maybe Lesley needs a jingle for this. If you could get to work on that.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe have it to me by next week.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing. So.
Okay. Hey, Lesley. So what do you have going on for your Micro Minutes today?
Oh my gosh, I have so much. I was kind of jotting down some notes and I was like, wow, I have more than I think I have time for. So it's going to be multiple minutes for me here in just a second. Okay, so first of all, I recently visited 816 Dispensary in Platte City, Missouri. That's our first operational dispensary.
Very exciting.
Yes, it was fantastic. We got to visit with Jimmy Poe and his staff at the dispensary. It's a fantastic facility. I'm so very proud of him and all the work that he's done. I think he's a great example of someone who's very, very determined to be successful in this program.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I joined Lesley on that and really like their decor that they have in there. It's really nice. Patrick Mahomes is alive and well within 816.
Featured in the decor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
Big Kansas City fans up there.
Right,
So
all right.
yeah. So he is having his grand opening this Saturday.
That's
August 16th.
so wonderful.
Yeah. So anybody who's around the Platte City area, I'm sure he'd be thrilled to see your face.
Perfect.
Second thing, DCR is offering a learning opportunity for microbusinesses September 9th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We're going to be discussing commencement inspection, the process, the documentation, and even some common issues that they're starting to see that microbusiness licensees are experiencing with the physical inspection. So I'm really excited about that. We even have time that we're going to open it up for questions about commencement inspection. I just sent out invites today, so everyone needs to check their email and to be able to register and make sure that they can make it on time and see everybody's smiling face from DCR.
That is such a great opportunity. So really practical, like really in the details of process and what to expect and what to look out for, right?
Exactly. And I even told my licensees that have already become operational, like if you want to come and share some wisdom that you have, like we'd be more than happy to hear from your own experience of what the commencement inspection was like and how things can run a little bit more smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah. Great idea.
So exciting.
Yeah. We have the operational deadline coming up so fast for round one. So we want to make sure that everybody has the right information. And we have some great staff members here that try to share as much as they possibly can, but they want to make the process easier too for everyone.
Yes.
All right. So I had a couple of other things. First, I wanted to remind everybody that the second draft of rule revisions were recently posted, and that affects the microbusiness program.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's in a bundle of draft rules that we put out for feedback.
Yes. We're looking for public feedback.
Yes.
Right? As much as we can get.
Right. And I think we're pretty excited with being able to show the changes and the adjustments that we made between the rounds of drafts. I hope that folks that were really familiar with the original one can see how the feedback really informed our changes. And anybody who has questions about that, if it's not really readily apparent, can they reach out to you and maybe talk about what those changes were that we incorporated?
Absolutely. You can always email me at leslie.turek@health.mo.gov.
Yeah, really putting it out there, huh?
If I could remember my phone number, I'd put that out there too, but I can't.
Right.
So yeah, I'm more than happy to answer questions to the best of my ability. And if I can't, I'll try to find the answers as best I can.
Yeah, as always. Great.
And then the final thing I wanted to bring up, just kind of as a little aside, we had an inquiry from a microbusiness wholesaler a while ago asking about co-location. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that co-location is a possibility. Two microbusinesses co-locating together in a facility would be a great way to share some expenses. There's some possibilities of co-locating with a comprehensive facility, but there's some certain conditions that have to be met. I would encourage anybody who has questions about that to contact their compliance officer as early as possible.
Yes.
And to keep in contact with that compliance officer.
Yes. The co-location is really hard to roll back. When you start building, you start installing equipment, you make those plans that have a financial impact for your business. And there's really some important considerations that everyone needs to be aware of as they make those plans. So like you said, Very important to stay in touch with your compliance officer. If that's something that a licensee wants to consider, they will help you ensure that it really is a possibility. Whatever it is you want to do with co-location, that's a possibility, and how to go about it to make sure that you're still in compliance with rules.
It's just an exciting alternative. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of creativity out there.
I love that
and-
they're thinking outside the box. I
Yes.
think that's so fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
That's
all.
it. Well,
Okay.
I don't think you went too much over a minute.
I don't know.
Cue the jingle.
Okay, so I've been hearing that we have licensee training opportunities coming up.
Yes, our program development unit does a wonderful job of pulling everything together. They do scheduling, they've got the topic selections to do, all the way to the evaluations at the end. It's really important to DCR that we provide licensees with education, and this is one of those opportunities. So we hope that this really helps licensees understand the rules, makes it easier to stay in compliance with the rules, and really in turn that makes our jobs a lot easier too. I like to say that we want to stay in compliance and not get into enforcement. And this is one of those ways that we can do that.
We have Jason Brooks here to tell us about the past, present, and future of licensee learning opportunities. So hi, Jason. Welcome to DCR Out Loud. How's it going?
Hi, guys. Pretty good.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a program development unit supervisor, mainly on the policy side. That unit is divided into systems and policy, and I manage the policy side.
All right. Well, welcome. So we're now in quarter 3 of 2025. Tell us about how many trainings have you guys put on so far this year, and what was the attendance like and stuff?
Actually, since June of last year, we've had 3 of these learning sessions. In between those, we've also had microbusiness welcome, microbusiness town hall, and things of that nature. Attendance has been very good, ranging anywhere from 150 to 220 attendees per session.
Wow.
And I would say that's in total. Many of these sessions are morning and afternoon or multiple days and that kind of thing.
That's great. I honestly had no idea that many were coming. So wonderful. Seems popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you pick topics to have at these learning sessions? What's your strategy?
Yeah. Well, topics can come from a variety of sources. It could be a licensee asking us a question or getting a question on repeat from licensees that clues us in to say, hey, maybe we need to say more about this. Could come from facility visits, internal meetings that we would have here at DCR, kind of brainstorming a variety of ways. Also, at the end of each of these sessions, we offer a survey where people can recommend additional topics, and we often get really good topics from there as well.
Yeah, that's great. So part of that strategy reminds me of how we have usually determined we need to put out guidance. If we're getting the same questions and it's coming from a lot of different directions, it's a pretty good clue that maybe something we want to talk about. And this is another way to have a conversation, even a bigger conversation, to help clarify things. I like that.
Indeed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those evaluations are really important. So if you've ever been on one of our sessions, please make sure you're filling those out at the end. We take those to heart when you guys are planning and things like that. So
we value that feedback tremendously. We don't know what we don't know. So getting that feedback or recommendations is incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
So what's coming up in September? Going on the road?
Actually, we actually have our next learning session coming up in September. It will be in 3 locations: St. Louis, Kansas City, and Jefferson City. But registration has gone out. We already have about 50 registered between those 3 events in just 3 or 4 days. So that's an impressive lift already.
That's great.
Yeah.
DCR Summer Tour 2025 coming to a town near you.
Yeah. Right. So what are you guys going to be talking about at those sessions?
Well, a variety of things from microbusiness updates, research license information. We're going to be talking about packaging and labeling, everybody's favorite topic, and some different things regarding testing, commencement inspections, and some general updates as well.
Okay, and circling back on that, registration is required.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and is there a deadline on that?
Yes, all of the registrations for these events end a week prior to the event. So you always have up until that point. That helps us, correlate how many people are going to show and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
So again, we look forward to these sessions. They're a great opportunity for us to provide education, also for us to gain some education. There's always some back and forth and conversation. And it's also a great opportunity at these live events. And I should mention that the events in September are live. Some of our events are virtual, some are live. The live events are a great network opportunity for the licensees to meet other licensees or to meet other compliance officers or other DCR staff. So.
Never hurts to add some additional personal connections in this work.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you have a topic idea, what's the best way for them to reach out?
If you attend the upcoming event, at the end of that event, you'll get a survey where you can do that. But we are always taking suggestions at cannabis.mo.gov at health.mo.gov.
Thank you so much for being here today, and we're glad to have you, and I'll be out on that tour with you, some of those, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing more about this upcoming training, and definitely wish you all the success, more success, additional success, because you've had a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
All right. Thanks, Jason. So it's been a great episode, and now it's time for some general updates.
Okay.
So
what do we have?
The MCRC quarterly meeting was held on July 30th in Jefferson City. Agenda topics included the item approval process, reference lab testing, updates regarding the market study, and economically distressed constitution requirement. The work group also added 4 new members.
Yeah, a great meeting as always, really productive. Let's see, next update. We got rules. We mentioned it earlier with our micro minutes. We've got a bundle of draft rules. These are just draft. They're not filed for formal rulemaking. We posted those on our website a while back. And the idea is that we have these draft rule revisions and draft rules out so that anybody who feels they have some expertise to add, alternative wording or comments on the subject matter or the intent, then there is a place to do that, to submit those comments and that feedback. And we just really appreciate a wide variety of feedback. And in that bundle, we have several kind of big categories of information. We've got one, it's actually 2 rules that we would be revising. You can see the draft revisions for micro businesses. Then there's draft revisions related to facility operations, quite a bit in there about ownership processes for getting approval for ownership and reviewing, conducting oversight of ownership, some processes for what to do, what should a licensee do with individuals in ownership who have been found in noncompliance of rules. So yeah, you can look in there. It's a few different topics, but really very much related to all the facilities generally in their operations. And then the third category, very exciting, we have draft rules for our research license. Never had a research license before. This is a brand new thing. It is something that the Constitution gave us the authority to create. And this is our draft of how we would go about it. So definitely looking for feedback on that. Anybody who has expertise in other states or in research institutions that aren't usually cannabis related, we just want every kind of expert feedback that we can get on those.
Yeah, and that makes me think we need to have Rika on, our policy director that helps with those rules. We need to have her on sometime to discuss those.
Yeah.
But we sent those rules out to rule notification, press release, out to our Gov Delivery subscribers, as well as our designated contacts. So if you didn't get that in your email box and you're interested in learning more, or want me to forward you that email, just email me at tara.mckinney@health.mo.gov, and I'll shoot those over to you. But designated contacts and subscribers should have received that notice in their email.
Yeah, which is a great plug for that service. Anybody can opt in to receive communications from us about, the subject matter they're interested in. So
Exactly.
they should you should do that. If you're wanting to get this kind of information, it can come directly to you.
Exactly. And finally, the annual report is out and about.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It is. We
It
have
is.
such great team
We
members
do.
to help put it together.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff in there. So if you haven't checked it out, you can find it on our website at health.mo.gov. Anything you want to highlight from there?
Well, I think every year we have really interesting data in there. So if you're wondering about, how many patients there are these days and where the money goes from the fees and taxes, we have all kinds of information that we're reporting on from a year period. So encourage everyone to take a look, see what you find.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps things up for today. Kind of want to talk about, Jason had said feedback is really important for learning, training opportunities, but it's also really important for DCR Out Loud too. So if you have a topic that you think would be good that we can put together in a short period of time, it doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big item. Reach out to me and let me know, and we can see what we can do about it.
Oh, I would love to hear what people want to listen to.
Mhm.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So would appreciate suggestions.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's lots of ways to stay informed between episodes. Subscribe to our email list that we just talked about to receive emails from DCR on various topics and customize them to your needs. Go to cannabis.mo.gov and click on Join Our Email List under Contact Information. We also have the Cannabis Connection newsletter that is published quarterly, and it's your information link to Missouri's Division of Cannabis Regulation. For outreach events and more, visit cannabis.mo.gov and click on the DCR Communication and Resources tile. That's all for today.
Let's wrap it up. See you next time.
See you next time. We're out.
This podcast content is intended for adults over the age of 21 years old and is best to be used for informational purposes only. The content does not constitute official compliance or regulatory guidance. The department and author assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this podcast. The information contained in this podcast is provided on an as-is basis with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness. Cannabis licensees should consult with their assigned compliance officer for rules and regulations specific to their facility. The content is not intended to diagnose or treat any medical condition and should not be relied on for any medical purposes. Patients and the public should consult with their healthcare providers about medical-related questions and the impact of cannabis on health. If you believe you are having a medical emergency, call emergency services. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed herein are those of the authors, presenters, and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by, the U.S. government, Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, or the government of the state of Missouri.